Hi Libra, this is your June 2016 horoscope with me, Lada, from Astrolada.com, for anyone who has their Ascendant, Sun or Moon in Libra. And how will this month start? Well, it's starting with a grand square, which is like, whoa, in astrology it's considered this really tense aspect when the planets are situated on cross from each other, and many astrologers freak out about it. But the more I've observed and researched charts, whenever there is a grand square, something shifts in a big way. And we often need this push from the universe for things to shift in our life as well. And there might be outer stimulation or provocations that create this shift, or it might be, for those of you who are more attuned, they feel it from the inside and something just escalates and pushes them to make a big change in certain areas of your life. But it can feel like a psychological tension, because this grand square is happening, Libras, in your, basically in your houses of thinking, in your houses of the higher mind, the 9th house, the lower mind, the practical mind, the 3rd house, the 6th house, the rational practical mind as well, how we solve problems, and the 12th house of our subconscious, of our basically of our subconscious, the subconsciousness, yes, so the higher mind, the lower mind, the practical mind, and the subconscious mind. So there is mental tension that you might feel the first 2 weeks of June. It might create some fears, some worries that come to the surface. It might create some apprehensions about the future, but it all has a creative and kind of pushing influence on us, on Libras in particular. It changes you to, it makes you change your higher perspective as well a lot, because the Sun, Mercury and Venus will be in your 9th house. The 9th house is the house of, basically it's a house of how your belief systems, how you perceive reality, where do you find meaning in your life, what you consider is something for the long run. How the 9th house is the house of Sagittarius, where you're pointing an arrow towards some distant goal, and this arrow that you point towards a distant goal is basically the thing that drives you to move ahead, that gives you meaning. The 9th house is the house of having meaning, having a deeper, a high understanding about our lives. So definitely you Libras will see things from a different perspective in June. Some of you might even be traveling to foreign countries or being in communications with people that are very different than them. Other foreigners, different cultures, other people with different social background, with different, something more foreign, something more unique that gives them a very different perspective on life. And your belief systems will change. How you perceive life on the whole will change. Definitely, because there's so much triggering focus towards that 9th house. All the other planets on the cross are triggering this 9th house for you. So by the end of June, you'd have a very different look at life, and what you consider, maybe your priorities will change as well. And this is a time when some of you might feel pushed to pre-qualify in some way, to research different options in regards to their career for the future, which is the 9th house, is where we're preparing for a career, where we're preparing for a different vocation or mission. Some of you might feel pushed to start some courses, to start learning something new, to expand your mind, to expand your horizons. And this can come to you through other people, as I said, or through reading some book that gives you a different perspective, through some mentor or advisor, or even through communication with father figures, mentor figures, guru figures of some sort. Or even it might be as easy as watching some video that turns your life on the YouTube, or watching something that makes things click like a bulb coming in your head, and you see how the puzzles of your life start fitting. But you might have to shift, but this includes a view seeing from a different perspective, but also shifting your actions. And possibly by the end of June, a lot of you, because of this shift in your mentality, how you perceive things, would have also started to change your life. And you know, so it might feel some tension, as I said at the beginning, but it's ultimately all those grand squares, they're very activating and they're very manifesting, and it can be manifesting in different levels. This 9th house, so I said higher education, some important developments, and push from within or from outside to change, to pre-qualify, foreign travel, your belief systems, your spiritual belief systems. Also a shift in your communications and your daily communications with people. The third house, Saturn is in your third house, making an opposition to those planets. So there can be a bit of a push and pull between your opinion and other people's opinions. How people can challenge you to see reality from their perspective, from a different perspective. This can create some tensions in relationships with co-workers, teammates, playmates, people in your everyday environment that you communicate with. But at the same time, it's, again, I repeat, it's creative stimulation that pushes you to see things from a different perspective, to change your communication style as well. So these two houses of travel are triggered from the grand square. And these two houses of mental exploration, higher and lower, researching facts, and also seeing things from a higher point of view that give you a meaning, a longer lasting meaning and purpose in your life. So this tension leads to those positive things. And so, yeah, so the grand square, it's psychologically tense, but it can have very good manifesting results. And then the other two planets that are creating this grand square are in your 12th and 6th house. There might be the need to change something in regards to your daily routines, the 6th house, in regards to, you know, your daily routine can be disrupted in some way. So you can find a better new daily routines, so such that are more productive, more efficient, or health routines, food intake routines, how you take care of your body. This is all the 6th house. You know, there can be again tension that comes from there, but ultimately it's there to give positive, to make you do some positive restructure there. And the 12th house, the other planet, Jupiter, is in your 12th house, which is creating this grand square. So there is a shift in your subconscious as well. Something like a spiritual realization can come to some of you. Something like from the subconscious can come to the surface, something that's you've forgotten, even from a past lifetime it can be, but something that unlocks some kind of higher wisdom that unlocks your forward movements and makes you create changes in your life. So the changes of this grand square are mostly on the mental and on the psychological levels for Libras. And they're kind of expanding the consciousness, even though initially might feel a bit tense. There can be a tension there or even resistance from us. So another thing that is happening is that Mars, the planet of action, is going retrograde in your 2nd house. And this, Libra, happens rarely. This happens last time, I think Mars was retrograde in Scorpio in your 2nd house was about 17 years ago. And Mars is all about making sharp changes. Mars is like, I keep repeating it in every video, but that's the best way I can explain it, especially when Mars is moving retrograde. It's like a surgical knife that comes in that area of your life in order to remove the tumors, in order to remove everything that is not functional, in order to fix problems that have been omitted or that have been swept under the carpet. So it's happening in regards to your values. On the spiritual, on the emotional level, the 2nd house rules what we consider valuable. So our attitude in June, your attitude, Libras, towards material things, towards what you consider worth investing your time and efforts in to receive back, it's changing. Something in your values in a big way is changing. You see how it's kind of connected also with the change that is happening in the 9th house, which is your belief systems, which is your long-term goals and how you envision the future. And this is kind of accompanied by a shift in values. And this shift in values on the material level, this is our financial resources, our assets. So Saturn, Mars going retrograde day in your 2nd house, for all of June basically, can bring to the surface to sort out certain financial issues. And I would advise you in June not to make big risks financially with this retrograde Mars, not to destabilize the financial situation, but to make reevaluations. How are you spending your money? What you're putting your time and effort into, is it worth your time and effort? How are you being paid? Is it worth again your time and effort? And even to speak up, because Mars there wants us to take action and initiative in our hands, and to speak up about, are we not treated with worth or with value? Are we not receiving the proper remuneration financially? You can Mars can escalate you to confront people about that, people that are responsible for your resources in some way, or even to start taking yourself certain steps and initiative to transform, to restructure, to change your spending habits, your financial situation. And actually matters, a second house rules anything material. So something from the past that you're waiting for can come, something that maybe you've given a book to someone can come back to you, maybe you've given some money to someone. Mars going retrograde back, so you can receive something back that you have not received, or that you have not, you know, something that is a possession, or some money that is owed to you can come back to you, or something like an asset can come back to you, or something that you've worked on and you have not been remunerated for can come back again. But usually I remember I had a couple of clients who had Mars retrograde in their second house, and they had to have extra expenses in regards to their fixing certain things out of the blue, something with the home or something. They had to expend more money, something that they have not paid attention to. Mars retrograde in the second house can require you to, you know, to sort this out. And so that's why I wouldn't advise you to take extra financial risks, because you might be surprised by something that comes that requires your financial attention and to kind of master your willpower to deal with it. But by the end of this process, when Mars starts moving direct, so basically from July onwards, all those financial issues will start untangling, and you'll be with a more clean-cut budget, with more systemized, more strategic approach to your finances and material matters. You'd have possibly a new plan by then that you're putting into action. Until then, in June, basically research those things. New alternatives will appear, or just research them, analyze them, investigate them. This is the Scorpio energy, to strategically analyze something. And then when Mars starts moving directly from July, from the end of June, July onwards, you can really consolidate your financial situation, and you'd have sorted out some financial issues that come back that were omitted, or you'd have restructured your finances in a way that makes you more efficient, that makes you more in control of things, so to speak. So yeah, there is this focus there. But don't worry, by the end of the month, Mars starts moving direct. And yeah, so, and especially it can be even sorting out some issues in regards to finances that you have with a partner, because Mars rules your seventh house of relationships. So some kind of a financial changes and restructures which are connected to a partner, which are connected to important person in your life, or to important business partnership, that need reevaluation, examination, restructuring in some way. So thank you very much. Even if the situation is a bit destabilized financially, believe me, Mars requires 3 times extra efforts, but by the time it starts moving direct, those efforts also start paying with longer lasting results and more satisfying results. So thank you very much, Libras. I will see you next month in July. You're welcome to follow me on Facebook. Astrolada is my fan page there, where I do free readings, competitions. My psychic and astrologers, they're amazing. They also offer free readings. I also give free courses there for anyone who wins, and a lot of free information, astrological information. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next month.